Okay, very good afternoon, all the students. Now today we see the new topic, that is the principal component analysis. So this is a part of our machine learning algorithms, that is the principal component analysis. Before we start the principal component analysis, first we see why there is a need of PCA. It is a principal component analysis. So the principal component analysis is required to solve the problem of overfitting. So all of you know that what is the overfitting. Okay, the overfitting, during this train phase, when we provide the large number of attributes, then our model will get confused, and that condition we can say that is the overfitting. So when we use any training phase, so you can use any training algorithm. It may be a regression, it may be a clustering, it may be a classification. You can take any type of machine learning algorithm. But when your data set, the data set you are providing to train the model, and if it has a large number of attributes, then obviously our model will get confused. To reduce this problem, the PCA is trying to reduce the overfitting problem, where our model is trying to touch each and every point that creates the overfitting problem. And PCA is to convert the high dimensionality to the low dimension. So let us see, this is one of the model. You can take, you can say that this is a regression problem. You can say that anything, and this is one of the model we are generated using the machine learning algorithm. Now let us consider there are the different data points. So if your model is trying to touch all these points, that is nothing but you have to create the overfitting. So if your model is trying to connect to these points, connect to all the points, and then it will, let us consider these are the points. So your model is trying to connect this point as well as this point, this point, this point. Okay. So it creates nothing but the problem. That problem is called as a overfitting problem. So this PCA is used to convert the high dimensional to the low dimensional data, so that your model will not be get confused. Okay. So how the PCA is work? What happens when the given data set has too many variables? There are few possible situations which might come across. You find that most of the variables are correlated on analysis. You go patient and decide to run a model on the whole data. This returns a poor accuracy and you feel terrible. You become inadhesive about what to do. So you are not getting confidence how we can use that particular model, because we have a lot of attributes. You start thinking of some strategy method to find the few important variables out of the number of variables. So let us consider you have the one data set, and in that data set, let us consider I am having the one data set, and in that data set you have a number of attributes. Let us consider near about 100 attributes. Okay, so these are the 100 attributes. 100 attributes means and 100 columns. So when your data set having large number of attributes, so you will get confused in how you decide about that which parameter is comfortable for our output. To solve this, we have used the PCA. The simple word, PCA is a method of obtaining the important variable from the large set of variables available in data set. To extract low dimensional set of features by taking a projection of irrelevant dimension from the high dimension data set with a motive to capture as much information as possible. With fewer variables obtained while minimizing the loss of information, visualization also becomes much meaningful. A PCA is more useful when dealing with 3 or higher dimensional data. So if you have the 3 or more dimensional data, so in that condition you have to use the PCA. So always perform on symmetric correlation or covariance matrix. So we will see the what is by covariance and the correlation matrix. This means the matrix should be numeric and has a standardized data. Let us consider one example. Let's say we have a data set having the dimension 300 into 50. Here, the n is represent the number of observations, and c is represent the number of predictors. So, you have the 300 observations, and from this 300 observations, you are predicting some value, and that predicted value is nothing but the 50. Since we have the large number of predictions, that is the 50, there can be p into p minus 1 divided by 2 scatter plot. And it is nothing but more than 1000 plots possible to analyze the variable relationship. Will not it be a tedious job to perform the explanatory analysis on this data? In this case, it will be a legit approach to select a subset of p is less than 50 predictor which capture as much information, followed by plotting the observation in resultant low dimensional space. Image below shows the transformation of high dimensional, that is a 3-dimensional, to the low dimensional, that is a 2-dimensional data using the PCA. Not to forget, each resultant dimension is linear combination of features. Here an example and the output of your principal component analysis. So on your left hand side, you can see that there is an original data set, and in that original data set, this is a 3-dimensional data set. So you are getting the number of components, number of partitions in the original data set. But using the PCA, we are creating the some component space. So let us see here and converting the original data space into the 2-dimensional TC1 and TC2, and now it is very easy to understand and differentiate the data. So from this, you can say that this is one of the cluster K1, this is another cluster K2, this is another cluster K3, and this is another cluster, that is a K4. As compared to this, it is very tedious to understand how we can differentiate between these two clusters, because you are saying that you can easily think that there is some problem between this green color and the purple color cluster. They are getting mixed. Okay, so using this 3-dimensional data set, we have to convert this 3-dimensional data set TD into the 2-dimensional data set. Okay, so this is nothing but your principal component analysis. Now, in detail we see what you mean principal component analysis. The principal component analysis is a technique that can be used to simplify a data set. It is a linear transformation that chooses a new coordinate system for the data set such that the greatest variance by any projection of the data set come to lie on the first axis. This is called the first principal component. The second greatest variance on the second axis, and so on. PCA can be used for reducing the dimensionality by eliminating the latter principal components. What are the principal components mean? The principal component is a normalized linear combination of the original predictors in a data set. In an image above, we have seen there are the two principal components, PC1 and PC2. Now let us see, we have a set of predictors, for example, x1, x2, x3. The principal component can be written as z raised to the power 1 equal to theta x1, theta 11 x1, theta 21 x1, x2 plus theta 31 x3 up to theta p raised to the power 1 xp, where z raised to the power 1 is the first principal component and theta p raised to the power 1 is the loading vector comprised of loading theta 1, theta 2 and theta so on for the first principal component. The loading are constructed to the sum of the square equal to 1. This is because the large magnitude of loading may lead to a large variance. It also defines the direction of principal component, that is z is to 1, along which data varies the most. It results in a line in three-dimensional space which is closest to the n observation. Closeness is measured using the average square Euclidean distance. x1 up to the xp are the normalized predictors. Normalized predictors have been equal to the 0 and standard deviation. Now, what are the principal components mean? First principal component is a linear combination of original predictor variable which capture the maximum variance in the data set. It determines the direction of highest variability in the data. Larger the variability captured in the first component, larger the information captured by a component. No other component can have variability higher than the first principal component. The first principal component results in a line which is closest to the data. That is, it minimizes the sum of square distance between the data point and the line. What is second principal component? The second principal component is also a linear combination of original predictor which capture the remaining variance in data set and is uncorrelated with the Z1. In other words, the correlation between the first and the second component should be a 0. It can be represented as Z2 equal to theta 1 to raised to the power 1 plus theta 2 to x2 plus theta 3 to x3 up to the theta c to xt. The two components are correlated. Their direction should be orthogonal. This image is based on the simulated data with the two predictors. So you can see in the figure. Notice the direction of components. As expected, they are orthogonal. This suggests the correlation between this component is 0. So you can say that the first principal component and the second principal component, they are orthogonally correlated. All succeeding principal components follows a similar concept. That is, they capture the remaining variation between the correlated with the previous component. In general, for n into p dimensional data, minimum n minus 1 p principal component can be constructed. The direction of these components are identified and unsupervised. That is, the response variable y is not used to determine the component direction. Therefore, it is an unsupervised approach. So hence it is true that a PCA, principal component analysis, is nothing but the unsupervised machine learning algorithm. The principal components are supplied with a normalized version of original predictor. This is because the original predictor may have different scales. For example, imagine a data set with a variable measuring a unit as a Galilean, kilometer, light year, etc. It is defined that the scale of variance in this variable will be large, and performing the PCA on unnormalized variable will lead an intensely large loading for variable with high variance. In turn, this will lead to dependence on principal component on variable with high variance. This is undesirable. So here we are seeing the one example, then we can move to our next numerical of PCA. So as shown in the image below, PCA can run on the data set twice, with the unscale and with the scale predictor. So when you see that on the left hand side, when we run the PCA on the data set with the unscale, so we are getting this type of output. You can see the first principal component is dominated by the variable item MRP, and the second principal component is dominated by the variable item weight. So let us consider, I am mentioning here on x-axis there item MRP, and on the y-axis there item weight. Okay, so this domination prevails due to high value of the variance associated with a variable. When the variable are scaled, we get a much better representation of variable in two-dimensional space. Now, this is about introduction of PCA, principal component analysis. In the next, we will see the numerical of how to solve the numerical of principal component analysis.